And today's Jason Bytes Back. I am actually shooting this at 8 o'clock in the morning, which means I will be drinking coffee throughout all of this because I am barely awake. What's up, YouTube? Jason here with Jason Bytes Back, episode number 41, aka Quadro Uno. I'm not even gonna ask because someone got mad when I used Siri commands. So I'm just gonna say, hey Siri, how do you say 41 in Spanish?
41.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Byte My Bits here with Jason Bytes Back, episode number 41. In today's video, I have a very special introduction, and that is I've waited 6 years for this box to come in the mail. 6+ years. And I have finally got it. YouTube has acknowledged my existence by sending me a silver play button. I've actually had this for a week, but I told myself, Jason, don't open it. Wait until Jason Bytes Back because you don't want to do the same cliche 3-minute unboxing video that every single other YouTuber in the world does. And since nowadays 100K really doesn't mean much, it's really the millions that is, actually means anything, I just wanted to do it with Jason Bytes Back. So before I open up all this, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon subscribers who have been supporting the shenanigans over here at B&B headquarters, aka my basement, over the last 6 years-ish. I don't know why you guys throw money at me, but guys, you are awesome. Thank you very much. I'm working on your Patreon video later today for this month as well, for September's months. Oh, hot. I tried to drink that sarcastically and it burned the crap out of my mouth. But whether you're a Patreon or not, guys, thank you for being subscribers of my channel. I seriously, I don't even know how to say it. I know everyone says that. Like, oh, it's all because of you. It's so cliche. But, you have to say it. It's like, I would literally not be here if you guys didn't watch my stuff or if you guys didn't subscribe. So, thank you very much. I appreciate every single one of you. Oh, a little dusty. I'm gonna try to see if I can open it up as elegantly as possible. I had, of course, cover all the names and addresses with electrical tape, even though it made it look a little weird. Should I read the letter? I don't know. Everyone reads the letter. It's so cliche. Ready? It's black. And it's white. All right, the first thing I see here is congratulations on your subscriber milestone. It is a little business card size thing. Let's hold this up so you could see that. It says, we are honored to take part in recognizing your achievement and want your experience to be exceptional. This award was inspected and packaged with great care by Rick. If your award was damaged during shipping or if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at this email. Yes. And then we have this. Oh yeah, I want to frame this. I want to keep this nice. This is the YouTube letter on a pretty thick cardstock too. So it's not just, coming out the basic, like Amazon Basics printer.
You have just done something that very few YouTubers... so many people do. Anyways, that very few YouTube creators accomplish. You have an astonishing 100,000 people that got tricked into subscribing to your channel. We know that numbers on YouTube can get really big, but we hope that you don't lose sight of the reality behind the 6-digit milestone. Each person who has subscribed to your channel has been touched by what you created. They were inspired, challenged, or entertained. I have a lot of self-doubt over here. I feel like I tricked so many people. Like I'm really a bot, computer generated. Anyways, your achievement milestone...
Sincerely, Susan Scribble. I want Kiki. Oh yes. Oh, yes. Oh. Oh yes. This is it, guys. This is it. Byte My Bits. 100,000 silver play button award. I finally achieved it. It only took 6 years to do it. Okay, I'm a slow grower. I get that. But, oh man. Thumbnail time. Well, I'm sorry, Jerry. I know I had you up here, but this spot was reserved for this exact moment right here. So that is what it will be used for. Make sure the glare is not bad. Right there. Right next to the penis toilet paper. I think I'm gonna frame this just because, honestly, I really never see myself hitting 1 million. It took 6 years to get 100,000, so I'm not gonna be at YouTube for the next 30 years to get 1 million. So it's a very special moment for me, considering my acknowledgement of my own limitations. So anyways, moving forward, in today's video, I'm actually going to be using questions that I screenshotted and cropped on my phone because YouTube has broken their system so bad for browsing on a web browser that it is just unusable when you have thousands and thousands of comments throughout a month. So forgive the tiny screen. I usually have a laptop, but this is just way simpler. So jumping right in, the first question is from Matthew. He says, this came at a funny time. I got internet cut off for 30 days due to a DMCA notice because someone downloaded an APK file for a game. A game. LOL. Anyways, I noticed the local web UI doesn't work if not already set up on the computer. The Plex desktop app works without the internet. My Roku did, blah, 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 blah. Pretty much, I picked this question for 2 reasons. One, I made a Plex video asking, or at least stating that Plex only works sometimes on different devices if your internet access is down. It really does vary. One thing I did not touch base on is that there are certain ways to circumvent that to get Plex working. I do plan on doing a follow-up video, but I'm trying to get as many clients as I can in order to test this out, in order to make sure that each client has the option to connect without needing any sort of internet connection. The Xbox has a way to go in there and change things. Apparently the Amazon's Fire TV has a way to go and change things. Not all of them are going to be compatible, but there are settings within Plex that you could do. So yes, there are a lot of people that pointed this out, but the point of that video was to say that if you are just a normal user and you haven't expected the downtime of, let's say, your internet going down, and you try to access your content, depending on what client you use and how you consume your media, you may or may not have the ability to watch your stuff. But that will lead into a good follow-up video where I can say, hey, on these specific points, you can do this in order to bypass that to get your local area network streaming working with Plex. Also, this came at a funny time, internet cut off. This actually came at a funny time for me because you're talking about downloading an APK file for a game. One, I didn't even know that they would do that for a game. Like they would track that and actually send out and cut off your internet for that. That's mind-blowing to me. I've never heard of that before. But 2, if you guys know anything about my channel, for the longest time, I supported and had an affiliate link with NordVPN. NordVPN had that little thing like a long time ago, this feels like a long time ago, where one of their servers got exposed. Now, I personally didn't find that as a huge breach of their security because it was only one server and really it was just kind of overplayed, and the biggest deal to me was their response, not necessarily what happened. Companies get hacked. That's just normal. This is what happens. But the response to that situation, in my own personal opinion, was less than optimal. But 2, with NordVPN, I always struggled with, being able to get torrents to seed. So for example, I like to download the latest Ubuntu ISOs and seed them. That way other people can download them as well. And with NordVPN, they didn't have an option called port forwarding that you can actually set up with VPN to port forward to your torrent client. And on top of that, NordVPN would not work with Deluge on Unraid. So you couldn't, forward things like Sonar, Radar, whatever those, like hidden apps that I've never heard of before in my life, use in order to set up a proxy and can have an internet kill-off switch if for whatever reason your VPN doesn't work and you don't get in trouble for downloading APK files. So I avoided it for the longest time, but finally, after some testing and some help from some Discord peeps, thank you again, Scuba, for your assistance, I have confirmed that private internet access has met all of my requirements at a 90% hit rate. And what I mean by that is I can do the forwarding, the seeding works perfectly. You can set it up with Deluge. You can forward things on your local area network, basically using Deluge as a proxy, and then you connect other things through that are automatically kill switched if that doesn't work. So it checks all the boxes for usability, and since it's so widely used, it's easy to set up on most of these things. I don't know why I avoided it for so long, but you know, here we are. The only downside that I found with private internet access is that if you are using port forwarding, you usually are put in servers outside of the US, which means your latency is higher and your speeds are slower. So the maximum speed I'm usually able to get downloading something that has the options for a lot of speed is about 115 megabits per second. I have a gig connection, so that's kind of a letdown, but it's safe. So, you know, that's the balance, I guess. And to be honest, that's kind of one of the reasons why I held off so long in private internet access, because I was just, you know, wanted more speed. But if you don't want to share or seed files and you want to just go to the closest, fastest server you can get, I've reached speeds up to 230, sometimes about 250 in peak megabits per second, but normally about 200 to 230 megabits per second. That's if I want to do a closer server. So your mileage may vary. It all depends on where you are, what servers you're connected to, and all that other stuff. But so far, it's hit on just about 90% of all the things that I personally require in order for me to endorse a VPN. And this is a perfect example as to why you need a VPN. If you accidentally download something, you should not get punished by your ISP. It was an accident, right? I mean, clicked on that wrong button. So for this new launch of my private internet access affiliate, you get 77% off 2 years plus 2 months for free. So click a link in the description down below. It should be the first link. If you click that, you get a discount. Use my code. Appreciate it if you want to keep yourself safer and you want to have full functionality out of your VPN service provider. God, it is so early for me right now. Next question is from INX Pro. It's recommended to mix together multiple boxes so you end up with a uniform color. He is talking about my garage floor renovation project thingy that I'm doing right now. In hindsight, it was really 2020 on this one because I assumed the product was the same throughout all the boxes, and the boxes specifically say only mix one box at a time. So you cannot mix all the boxes together because it'll cure and harden up on you before you have the option to apply it to a large garage, especially my garage that was bare concrete with opened up pores and just soaked in a ton of product. With the hindsight 2020 thing, if I could go back and redo this, I would have mixed a new box and an old box together and just did 2 boxes at a time because I could have applied it fast enough to beat the curing time and I would have been able to level out that color. My garage would look a lot better right now, but I didn't do that. So if you ever get into this situation and you want to redo your floor with the Rust-Oleum products, if you are forced to get mixed matched new and old batches, just try to keep the ratio 50-50 and mix 2 boxes at a time. So you are correct, kind of. You know, hindsight, it's always 2020. The great thing about Rust-Oleum, though, is that they gave me a full refund, and I redid my floor for the cost of 2.5 boxes. So that's 2 boxes plus a machine to fix the mistake of the bubbles. Next question is from Ionis. For transcoding, nobody mentions AMD GPUs. Why? Are they unsuitable? Well, they're talking about my optimization video for Plex, and I gotta be 100% honest, I have never tested an AMD GPU for Plex transcoding, which now that I think about it is sad, but like 2 years ago, AMD transcoding, as far as I know, wasn't wildly supported. It was all focused on NVIDIA. So I know nowadays it's definitely possible. People have done it, people have done builds, and it should be good to go. I just personally haven't tested it. I mean, NVIDIA's just kind of dominated the graphics card market for so long that it hasn't been an option. So I know it's possible, I know it's suitable, and that actually brings up kind of a statement to me of, Jason, you kind of need to test that. So that is now on my to-do list because of this comment. It is on my to-do list, and in the future, I will be testing AMD products, maybe one or a couple different AMD GPUs, latest version of course, with Plex to see what kind of transcoding I would get and probably do like maybe a price comparison. I think that would be the best video. Say if you got a $400 GPU here and a $400 GPU there, you know, which one is going to give you the best bang for your buck? Next question is from Concerned Conservative. This is about my huge Blue Iris update. He said, Blue Iris sucks. I opened 6 cameras and my PC is dead. 100% CPU usage and mouse moves every 20 seconds. Before you tell me it's my computer, no, I use Amcrest Surveillance app and load all 16 of my cameras in full HD, 1K and 2K, and it adds only 20% aggregate CPU load. Blue Iris is doing something highly inefficient in processing the video streams. The best part about this comment is there's a very obvious issue, and they say it's not this issue. That's the best part. I recently had somebody who asked me, Jason, I can't get this connection working between, I think it was a server and a switch. All of these symptoms led up to the cable being bad. And I told this person, I was like, listen, everything you just told me tells me you have a bad cable. He was like, no, I made this cable myself. I've made 1,000 of them. I tested it on my machine. I know it works. It's not the cable. We went back and forth a little bit more and I said, look, I don't know where to go from here because again, everything is telling me right now that your cable does not work. I got a response of, I know my cable works. Let's move past this step, please. And I literally had to say, I don't have any next steps. If it's not your cable, then you got something a lot deeper wrong with your computers and your switches because everything you're saying is a dead cable. Finally, I convinced him to try a different cable, and long and behold, the cable worked. Everything lit up, it was good to go. But he was so sold on the idea that he made a perfect cable like the first time that there was zero chance in his head that it was the cable. Now, I'm not ragging on this whole cable situation because I've done the same thing. It's like the simplest things. It's like, no way it could be that. I've overlooked this 1,000 times. It happens to every single person out there. And you feel kind of dumb whenever you find it out. But on this one, it's like, if you're gonna tell me that 6 cameras on Blue Iris maxes out your computer and your computer can't handle it, then maybe you need to update your computer. I'm not vouching for Blue Iris being the most efficient NVR software out there. There's absolutely no way I could say that. I know from experience, Blue Iris can be kind of a hog. But if you run things like Intel QuickSync or any kind of an NVIDIA GPU, Blue Iris can use these in order to make itself more efficient and not bog down your PC. Again, Blue Iris has a lot of like things that I don't like being forced to run on a Windows VM. Although I did see someone got it running on an Unraid Docker. I haven't tested that out, but that seems kind of cool. And the remote management for Blue Iris is a little wonky, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I literally just ran a cable from one room to another because remoting in was just horrible. I mean, there's a lot of downsides to it. I'm not saying it's the best software out there, but it's the best software for me. I use it every day. I rely on it, and it's been nothing but great most of the time. Next question is from Jason. So this is used as a backup for your Plex server, or is this used as a document server? Asking because I'm trying to figure out if I should get one of these for my server backup or not. Well, the new Synology that I got, the Xeon powered one, I'm still in the process of testing it, but I don't plan on using it as a backup to my Plex server. It's basically a super over beefy file server that's taking all of my backups in my entire house, aside from my media, because that's way too much data, but it's taken like all my my laptop, my computers, my servers, like all the operating systems. It's taking all the root stuff in my house and backing everything up in a central location, including like storage on my main computer that's like, key Byte My Bits working material, like source material that I reference all the time, audios and effects and stuff like that. So it constantly does backups of all of this stuff in my house, with the exception of not backing up my media. And the reason why is because I have a huge server with 30 drives for my media, and there's no way I'm gonna fit that in this Synology thing. I have considered on some level to run a backup Plex media server. Bear with me here. If by any chance anything happens to Loki throughout the day, something goes wrong, something goes down, which has happened before, mostly power outages, because screw Evergy, Energy, Westar Energy, whatever the hell their name is now. If power goes down, sometimes shit doesn't power on automatically, even though it's set to, and it's just a big pain in the butt. And my server is down, but I'm on lunch break and I want to watch shows and I can't be at the house until 5 hours later. If I were to basically upload all of the common TV shows that I watch, which includes everything Star Trek, everything Stargate, and maybe it's like Lucifer or some other ones that I might be watching at the time. If I were to load a backup Plex media server that I could access without relying on Loki being up, then that would be nice. And that is something that I'm going to do with this new one, because with those things like the next generation, enterprise, stuff like that, it's not going to take up a ton of space. So having a backup server that you can watch all of your most commonly, watched TV shows that you just do on your downtime for the hell of it is not a bad idea. Next question is from Jonathan. It says, Jason, this is funny. I laughed out loud when I read this comment, so I wanted to comment on it. Jason's insurance company. So, where did the fire start? Jason, don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh man, that's my second favorite comment. So, Jonathan, gold star for you. My first favorite comment, someone asked, everyone always asks about my wife, and someone replied back to someone asking about where's my wife or what she thinks or something like that. And they replied, she unsubscribed, which was the funniest and goes down in the history of the best comment on my channel. Seriously, best comment. I'm just saying. I really think I need to get that framed because I laughed until my stomach hurt. I don't know why. It was just funny. It fit and it was perfect. So this is the second best. Good job. Next question is from Troy about the Quadro RTX 4000. Can Synology use a GPU for transcoding? Well, all of my internet research said no. It's a driver issue. Synology does not have the options to load drivers for GPUs. But I went down a rabbit hole of some people who claim they could get it to work through some jumping over hurdles and stuff like that. The problem is the only GPU I have that will fit in a Synology is the P2000, and the P2000 is currently being used for my little Angry Inch build that is running my DVR solution, Blue Iris. Editing Jason here. What I forgot to mention is that some Synologies do have built-in hardware acceleration. Unfortunately, the new Xeon Synology that I got does not support hardware acceleration. So I cannot tear that down. I cannot take the P2000 out because that would take down my security cameras. And if my security cameras are down, literally the world is ending and I have absolutely no idea what's going on outside and I'm panicking. So no way for me to test it. Next question is from Gary. I've run pfSense for 4 years. I would never go back to a consumer poop router. The beauty of pfSense as a system can be as simple or as complex as you want, while it's providing complete level control over your traffic. I want to touch base on this because this statement is 100% true. I set up this years ago, right? The pfSense, it's years. It's a R222 whatever server blade I bought off eBay. It's not too loud. The thing, I just set it up and I forgot it. I set up cache, I configured it. Every once in a blue moon, I update the thing, but it never goes down, never has problems. I've never once had an issue with pfSense. There's a little bit of a learning curve if you want to get into more complex things, but I've never had an actual issue with pfSense. Now I still use TP-Link routers for access points. I have an AX5000 that I use as an access point that is in the middle of my house. Again, works perfect for me, great signal everywhere, but the root of my network is still pfSense. In fact, I worry about it so little I forget that it's even there. So that's good. Next question actually is commenting about this chair right here. It says, BMster, I'm very happy with my Commander S3 from Maxnomic. Unfortunate, it did not work out for you. What did you end up replacing it with? Well, I did not end up replacing it with anything because I spent $450 to get my logo on this damn thing, and I still think it looks pretty. I mean, it's a good looking chair. But to give you an idea, I've sat in the studio now for 32 minutes, and I'm already kind of shifting my weight, because this is stiff and makes my butt hurt. I cannot believe I just said that on video. I hate this chair. I regret spending $450 on it. I like that it looks good. I hate everything else about it. I'm sorry. This is a hype chair. They sponsor a bunch of people, they throw it in everyone's faces, and they buy into the marketing. Hey, successful marketing. Congratulations, Maxnomic. I hate your chair. I'm just throwing that out there. It's uncomfortable as hell. I feel like I'm sitting on a freaking MDF board or something. Next question is from Dale. So just to confirm, this should work in a NAS drive, Netgear 204, without having to do the 3.3 volt mod. He's talking about shucked hard drives. Now, shucked hard drives actually come enabled with most of the time, come enabled with a 3.3 volt pin that sends the hard drive into an infinite loop. It's designed to be used with servers where they could reboot the drive or whatever, send a signal. I don't really know or care, but the way to disable it was to basically cover up that pin in order to get it working in regular computers that use regular power supplies. But in most NAS devices, and I say most because it's not always 100%, but in every single NAS I've ever tested or heard of, they do not use that 3.3 power rail at all. So as far as I know, on this Netgear, you should not need to do any kind of modification to this hard drive, whether it's painting or taping over it in order to get it to work. It should just work right out of the box. NASs are just like that. They're bare minimum. If they don't need a 3.3 volt because they can do everything else, then they're not going to add it in there because it's additional cost. So shuck away, guys. And also, I did a warranty thing on one of those shuck drives, and it worked. If you guys missed that video, check it out. The next and possibly the last question would be, this is about, I love having so much power. The Jackery Explorer 1000 review says, wouldn't it be better to invest in a bigger UPS or invest in home solar? You don't need to grid tie either. Just be there for your server. Well, I would absolutely love to get a solar setup. Unfortunately, I know somebody who spent $45,000 or $48,000 on a solar installation. Basically a rooftop solar system with 2 batteries and installation. It was like near 50 grand. So that's crazy to me. But I mean, he loves it. I'm super jelly. Like I would probably get 3 batteries just because, power hog over here, but still, that's amazing. And considering, especially this year, we've had so many power outages, most of which are lasting over 3 hours, which has been a reoccurring thing here, and it's driving me up the wall. But because it's such an issue now with our inconsistency of the power grid, I want one even more. But for that cost, I just don't see that happening. There's options for whole home generator backups that you can buy for a quarter of the cost. I forgot the brand. It's like Generac, but it uses natural gas and it kicks on automatically to replace the power in your house to get you back up and running with a little bit of switch downtime. But if I have my UPSs that can support my servers for over an hour, that's plenty of time for it to re-kick in, and start supplying power without anything happening to my servers. It's about $4 grand for the unit, about $4 grand for installation, $8 grand total compared to almost 50 grand. It's like 45 or 48. I really don't have any plans in the near future for anything like that, but I just see if I ever did, that would probably be what I would gravitate to. And it's not just the cost either. I'm in Kansas. We are windy as hell all the time here. We have hail a lot. We have tornadoes a lot. We don't have a ton of sun a lot. So while solar will technically work and it'd probably be okay, it's just not optimal. I do have some updates coming with my UPS. Having issues. Might do an upgrade. Maybe not. I don't know. This garage thing has kind of ruined my wallet recently. So put that on hold for just a little bit. And it looks like that is it for the questions, guys. Thank you very much. Of course, as always, my awesome $10 baller Patreon subscribers will be listed at the end of this video. Thank you very much for throwing money at me like a dirty hooker. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure to post those in the comments sections down below. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe. Thank you for subscribing to give me 100K. Love you guys, awesome. And have yourself a great day. Now I don't even know what to do with this, I mean, who did it better? Be honest. This one's pretty good, right? That one's pretty good. That one's backwards. This one's bigger, right? But I think it was pretty accurate. You got the YouTube logo. Not like I didn't look it up on Google, but you got the YouTube logo. You got the box that's slightly lower. The size is off a little bit. I get that. Color. I mean, this is slightly different color than mine, so I get that. Whatever. But other than that, I think it's an exact replica. Maybe I should auction this off. That's what I'll do. should auction this off. Winning bid will be $1.50 with $300 shipping. Just kidding. Probably gonna throw that away or put it up somewhere else. Hey, did you guys know that you can order additional ones through the Creator Awards thing? I don't know how much they are, but you can buy replacements or additional ones. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that information, but that's interesting.